नाम पावनेभ्यो वैष्णवेभ्यो नमो नमः। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिन् इति नामिने। नमस्ते सारस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद। हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे, हरे कृष्णा कृष्ण कृष्णा हरे हरे, हरे राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्णा। दंडवत प्रणाम प्रभु जी, दंडवत प्रणाम चौधरी। हरे कृष्णा।
Hare Krishna. Dandavat pranam to all devotees. I'm extremely grateful to you for giving me this opportunity to discuss the wonderful works of Acharyas. Bhaktivinoda Thakur is considered as the seventh Goswami. So he has done amazing work because after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his immediate successors, they all left. There was a vacuum for almost 300 years. And then it was Bhaktivinoda Thakur who rediscovered the entire Gaudiya Vaishnava movement. So, by the arrangement of Mahaprabhu, all the necessary Shastras were written up, Gaudiya Vaishnava Shastras, in great profundity. It was all written up in those first 100 years of the disappearance of Mahaprabhu. But then only the books were there, entire philosophy was ruined. The place was taken over by Sahajiyas and Apasampradayas, and the people really did not know what is this Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And the common man thought that these people have no character. They are very fallen people. They are simply engaged in illicit sex and such other activities to maintain themselves. So, in such a scenario, Bhaktivinoda Thakur appeared, and along with holding a very important position under the British government as the magistrate of Bengal and Orissa and these places, simultaneously he developed the Gaudiya Vaishnavism. That's a whole story. There is a book called Seventh Goswami, The Seventh Goswami. It's an amazing book on the life and activities of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So he has also written so many books in English, in Bengali, Sanskrit. He has written so many poems, which are all very famous. People love to read those poetries of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So that way, there was the gap between Mahaprabhu's disappearance. All the books were written up, and there was a time when nothing was there, including Mahaprabhu's birthplace went under Ganges. Even the Mahaprabhu's birthplace was no longer known, and people they mentally speculated and they created a place called Navadvip and saying this is where Mahaprabhu was born. So all the places associated with Mahaprabhu were all created in that place. But Bhaktivinoda Thakur very boldly, he not only discovered the place, but he proclaimed this is the birthplace of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So there must have been a whole lot of resistance. All the caste Goswamis are ruling in Navadvip area, and they are all the Gaudiya Vaishnavas are going there only. So many temples and places connected with Mahaprabhu, they were all created there, but suddenly everything shifted to this side. So that way, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, along with his official responsibilities, he did a lot for Gaudiya Vaishnavism. And the greatest thing ultimately was he prayed to Jagannath in Puri that I have created a blueprint for propagating this wonderful mission of Mahaprabhu, Gaudiya Vaishnava mission, but I am becoming old. Please send me a ray of yourself from the son of Jagannath. Please send me a ray to become my son. So probably Saraswati Thakur was born at a more advanced age of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. He came and he took over where his father left, and he created the whole uh, Gaudiya Mutt and propagation all over India and sending people abroad. All these things Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur created. And the rest of it is history, how Srila Prabhupada came and then What was a national movement under Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, he made it a global movement. And by the arrangement of Providence, Gaudiya Mutt simply broke up. Just before Prabhupada was to go abroad, Gaudiya Mutt was in tatters. Actually, no, that did not happen. When Saraswati Thakur disappeared in 1936, then only Gaudiya Mutt all broke up. They all became independent. Every temple became independent. The power of unity was lost. It was in that scenario that Srila Prabhupada, there were so many sannyasis in Gaudiya Mutt, but they all became enfeebled because the movement was broken up. But then Prabhupada was a grihastha. He was the one chosen by Krishna to propagate Krishna consciousness all over the world. Just to show ashrama doesn't really matter. You are a grihastha or vanaprastha. If you are surrendered to Krishna, then you are empowered. When you have a proper understanding and you express your surrender and you have real eagerness to serve, then there is absolutely no limit. And actually, the major preaching of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also that Sthane Sthita, you be wherever you are and still live a Krishna centric life and propagate to others. You just do kirtan. You do kirtan. Understand the philosophy of Krishna consciousness. You chant Hare Krishna Mahamantra. You do kirtan. And whoever you meet, you give this knowledge of Krishna's message to everyone. That's all. Become a guru. Mahaprabhu says, by my order, you become a guru and save this world. Save this world by distributing. So, like that, talk to Savanth Goswami, very, very important for us. Even though he's not a contemporary of the six Goswamis, he came much later, but he is reckoned as a Savanth Goswami by the magnitude of work that he has done. So let us continue. So we were discussing the first shloka of Sikshashtakam. Cheto Darpanamarjanam Bhavamahagavagnivapranam Shreyakairava Chandrika Vitaranam Vidyavadu Jivanam Anandambudivardhanam Pratipadam Purnamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. There we are now discussing Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. This is a material world. Material energy is ruling this world. Prakriti Kriyamanani. The external energy of the Lord rules this universe. So, how can Krishna Sankirtanam succeed? Param Vijayate. How it is going to succeed? That question will arise. And Bhaktivinoda Thakur, after posing that question, he is answering. How this Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam, how it is going to succeed? So, that is what we were discussing. So he quoted before that about Vedanta Sutra. Okay, yeah, I have to go back to page number 2, last paragraph. So Krishna Sankirtana is victorious. That is what Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says. How can it be victorious in this universe which is actually arising from Maya Shakti? How can something transcendental succeed here? Krishna Sankirtanam is transcendental. It is coming from spiritual world. How you can say it is victorious in the world of Maya Shakti? In fact, Maya is successful. Maya is victorious in this world. How Krishna Sankirtanam will become victorious? So for that he is answering. Please listen. So for that he is answering in terms of Achintya Beda. He is explaining. This is something, it has to be explained to us from many angles. And we have to try to understand in many angles. We should never say, oh, I have an overall understanding. I have a general understanding. I'm happy with that. I have faith. So why should I learn more? That attitude should not be there. Our attitude should be to go deeper with the help of Purvacharyas. Try to understand the messages of Bhagavatam, Bhagavad Gita, Chaitanya's teachings very deeply. It's our duty. It is not that I don't think I have to do it. Or if I am reading Bhagavatam, Srishti, regarding creation, Sarga, Visarga, Sthana, Poshana, these things, why should I understand Virat Rupa in so many ways. I find very complicated. I find so many internal contradictions also. So why should I do that? Let me go to the 10th canto and I will relish that. So our thinking is I want to relish. We will justify it in so many different ways. But the point is, Prabhupada says, as important as Ras Leela is, so important is also the Srishti Rahasya of the Lord, how the Lord created this. Actually, Sarga is the primary creation of the Lord. Right? Visarga is what Brahmadev does. Brahma comes from the lotus that arises from the navel of the Lord, and Brahma becomes the secondary creator. The primary creator remains unknown to everyone. So Brahmadev once goes and questions, Narad Muni questions Brahmadev, who is his father, and glorifies him as the supreme personality. Because beyond you, there is no one. You create by your will. Like that, he says, then Narada Muni gets clarification from Brahmadev. Even though the Supreme Lord is not visible, he is the ultimate controller of everything. And then we come to know there is something called Sarga. Sarga, by which from Pradhana, Mahatattva comes, all the elements are created. The demigods in control of the various elements, as well as the senses, the sense devatas, they all come. And they are still unable to function. The whole universe, it's unable to function until the Supreme Lord again enters as a Paramatma in the Virat Rupa, right? So then the whole Virat Rupa begins to function effectively as a whole. So that is how the Supreme Lord is behind everything that happens here. And that is why in Bhagavatam first canto, he directly and indirectly, the Lord is aware of what is going on in the material world. Right? Directly, he is present in every atom, and indirectly, you can understand how the demigods have been appointed as various departmental heads, and all the elements, they are all serving the Lord. They are the energies of the Lord. So, in both in direct and indirect ways, the Lord is aware of everything. So, when these things are discussed, we should not leave them as technical. In fact, this will help you a lot to appreciate Krishna in the 10th canto. This is very important. Like this is the foundation. His Holiness Radhanath Swami never becomes tired of telling, you see a very beautiful building, people will appreciate the interior, the ceiling, the roofing, the wall paneling, the interior decorations, the floors, and all these things. But nobody appreciates, oh, what a wonderful foundation you have that holds up this amazing building. Nobody realizes it. But if you don't have that strong foundation, the whole building can collapse at any time. So that way, if you have a strong foundation in the areas like Sarga, Visarga, Sthana, all these things, when we know, then when we come to 10th canto, there'll be no confusion in our mind who we are talking about. Otherwise, very easily we can make the mistake of conflating Krishna with a human being, with an ordinary human being. What happened to Duryodhan and people like him, or Jarasandha, Shishupal, they all considered him as an ordinary human being. And that became their downfall. Even though they were contemporaries of the Lord, they lived at the same time, they were related to him. But still, they did not get the benefit because they did not have the foundation of who is Krishna. So that way, the time we are spending here in Sammodhana Bhashyam to discuss, to have a deep understanding of Sikshashtakam is a very good investment. It will help us. When we have a strong foundation, the world may not know about our foundation, but it is better. No? Like I told in one class about a Chinese bamboo. For 7 years, it is planted and watered and watered and watered and watered day after day after day, year after year after year. In this, up to then, nothing happens over the ground. You don't see anything happening. But at the end of the 7th year, suddenly it shoots up something like 100 meters or something over bamboo. It's a very special kind of bamboo. So because the foundation is strong, it grows so fast overnight. So that way, let us have a lot of patience in laying our foundation. Even if we are simultaneously reading other scriptures also, but you should be very focused on the foundation. Even if you try to listen to any of the class of Srila Prabhupada, whether the class was delivered in 1965 or it was delivered in 1977, you will see the emphasis is on the foundation only. Always Prabhupada's emphasis on foundation. Same way his guru, Saraswati Thakur, once he was in Radhakund, Vrindavan, and many Babajis came to listen to his lecture thinking he will talk about Rasalila, the some Madhurya pastimes and all. But all he knew this, they are having this kind of expectation. All the days, day after day, every day for those 30 or 40 days, he spoke only on the first shloka of Srimad Bhagavatam. These people became frustrated, and most of them left. Ah, this is for neophytes. He's talking some philosophy. We are very advanced souls. We should be discussing Rasalila. So such people left. But Saraswati Thakur did not mind. So let us not be like that. Let us put our full effort to Krishna will appreciate this. Krishna will appreciate this effort. And what else we want? We want Krishna to appreciate our effort. Nothing more is required. Because ultimately, whatever we get will come only from the mercy of Krishna. Like the sparrow that wanted to dry up the ocean, there was no chance at all. But the sparrow applied itself to the task that somehow I will get my eggs back. Then what happened? Garudadev came and the sparrow succeeded. So now the question is paradox. Whether sparrow's effort that got the eggs back, or it was the mercy of Garuda. We find that actually both are working there, right? Apparently both are working because the mercy came when Garudadev took pity on the sparrow. How this little sparrow will dry up the ocean, but how sincerely the sparrow is trying, then the mercy came. So in a similar way, we are all dependent on the mercy of the Lord. And we know Lord is an ocean of mercy. Karuna Sindhu. So to attract the ocean of mercy, let us have patience and sincerely try to apply our mind on understanding these things. So here he is explaining how the Vedas talk about God with qualities, God without qualities, both. Okay, in other places, Prabhupada will explain differently. But now we will go with Bhaktivinoda Thakur, what he is trying to say, because he is trying to give us one kind of an understanding that Supreme Tattva without qualities, Supreme Tattva with qualities. But we can better appreciate Supreme Tattva with qualities because the Supreme Tattva without qualities, we cannot even perceive. We don't have a sense to perceive that without quality thing because we can only perceive qualities. So then he is quoting Jiva Goswami also, and where he says, one Supreme Tattva is there. Okay, Ek. There is no change in that. But that one Supreme Tattva is at all times by his natural, inconceivable Shakti is present in four forms. So we said one, but that one is present at all times in four forms. Okay, that is Pancha Tattva. Right? 1 plus 4 is Pancha Tattva. So he is telling here, Swarupa, his four forms are what? Swarupa, you know who it is. His spiritual Vaibhavas, the Jiva, and Pradhana. So here it is not exactly the Panchatattva. This concept of four forms is basically the Lord's own form and then the Lord's spiritual expansions. These are all present in the spiritual world. Okay, this is one. The Shaktiman and his Andaranga Shakti, his internal energy. It's all there in the spiritual world, other side. Then you have Jivatma, there is a marginal potency, Jiva Shakti. Then this side, what do you have? Pradhana, which is material energy. Pradhana is unmanifest material energy. It is within the Lord. Pradhana is within the Lord. It is not manifest. When it manifests, it will become Mahatattva and then further expand. So the point is, these are his four forms. So the four forms are there in the one. So does it dilute the concept of oneness? He says, no, it is still one only. That one, by his inconceivable Shakti, is present in four forms. So this we have to digest. It is not that one means no variety. One means no variety. That's what Mayavadis or Advaitins will say. One has no variety. Otherwise, how it is one? But no, the one has, by its inconceivable Shakti, 4 forms. Its own spiritual forms. And then the Jiva, which is also the one only. See, you understand, no? So Jiva is not something other than the Lord. Correct, no? There is a meaning that comes up. Jiva is not something other than the Lord. And same way, Pradhan is not something other than the Lord. These are all Shaktis of the Lord. And they are integral to the Lord. They are present eternally at all times with Him. So they are all one only. But they are eternally different. Pradhan is Pradhan, Jiva is Jiva, right? Internal energy is internal energy. So the one only has eternal variety. It will never become one. It will never become one. So it is like the sun. He gives an example. Jiva Goswami. It has its own heat, internal heat. That internal heat produces rays. From the heat of the sun only the rays come. So the rays are the souls, the Jiva Shakti. So externally as its secondary form. What comes out is secondary form. What is present internally is the primary form. What comes out is secondary form. But it is all the same one thing. The following should be said about this. Bhagavan is a supreme tattva. We know. Aishwarya Samagrasya Viryasya Yasasasriya. We know, we studied in the beginning Gita Mahatmya. So Bhagavan is a supreme tattva. He is endowed with Shakti, Shaktiman and Shakti. Shakti Shaktimator Abhedaha. He is quoting from Vedanta Sutra that Shakti and Shaktiman, no difference. Like I am also a Shaktiman. I have some Shaktis. So are they different from me? No. But by the Lord's inconceivable energy, they can be different. The Shakti and Shaktiman separated by the Lord's Achintya Shakti. So he's telling, basically they are not different. But there is a Vedic statement, Parasya Shaktir Vivideva Shruyate. Swabhaviki Jnana Bhalakriyacha Sveta Swatra Upanishad contains this statement that the Supreme One, Supreme Absolute One, that has unlimited energies, Parasya Shakti, unlimited energies, and Vivideva Shriyate, they are named differently. So many energies, they have so many names. So Jiva Shakti, for example, is one energy, but in Jiva Shakti, there are so many Jivatmas. And we are all individually, all of us are Jivatmas. We belong to the Jiva Tattva. We don't belong to the Prakriti Tattva. They are not part of Pradhan. Right? But as Jiva Shakti, Mamivamsho Jiva Loke Jiva Bhuta Sanatana. Jivatmas are all Anshas, Krishna says. Anshas in the sense, they are Prakriti only, but superior Prakriti. Aparayam itastwanyam Prakritim Pitti me Param. We are the Para energy of the Lord, higher than the material energy. So that Jiva Shakti, similarly, there are so many energies of the Lord. They do different functions. Each of these energies, but they are all one energy only. Why? They belong to the Lord. So the Lord's energy is one, but because it does different functions, it goes by different names. Okay. So this is mentioned. Then, by the Achintya Shakti of the Lord, the final conclusion is, the impossible becomes possible. I'm on the 3rd page, right? 3rd paragraph. The impossible becomes possible. Eternal difference. Look at this sentence. This you put it in your heart. Right? This is a very important sentence. Eternal difference is unavoidable. Why this is important? Can anyone speak? Let us have more interactive session. And maybe if it is interactive, I can move faster also. Otherwise, I may go on repeating myself. This sentence, how does it strike you? Pick up the important elements in this sentence and tell me. Eternal difference is unavoidable. What is it? What does it mean?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Dandavat pranam. Prabhuji, I need some more this thing, Prabhuji. Eternal differences?
Unavoidable. You have the book with you or no?
No, Prabhuji, I do not have that.
Oh, you have bought it or not yet?
No, Prabhuji, no. Not yet.
Okay, so you are dependent on me. Okay. See, eternal, See, in the previous sentence, he said, by the Achintya Shakti of the Lord, the impossible becomes possible. That we have understood. Achintya, Veda, Veda. Eternal difference is unavoidable. This is a statement. Please decipher this. What is the meaning of this? Why does Bhaktivinoda Thakur say this? Eternal difference is unavoidable.
Correction, I'll try, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Every Jivatma has its own uniqueness, Prabhuji. Is
Yes.
it that, Prabhuji, they're talking about?
Yeah, yeah.
So that is unavoidable?
Yeah. Natvevaham jatunasam natvam neme janadiva nachaivana bhavishyamaha sarve vayam ataparam. Like that, Krishna is telling in the beginning, in the second chapter to Arjuna. What he says? Arjuna, ashochan and vashochastam. Something for which you should not lament, you are lamenting. An intelligent person will not lament either for the soul or the body. Soul will anyway never die. Body anyway will die. So why should you lament? So he said that. And then he said, neither you nor me nor all the kings who are arraigned here in this battlefield, we have always been there. And we will always exist in future also. Nobody is going to die. So that means that eternal variety is a fact. It is not an illusion. It is not artificial. Eternal variety. Every soul will live eternal. So some people will argue, then how ekatvam is denied? Ekatvam is supreme absolute truth is one. Supreme absolute truth is one. But how do you say so many souls? The Lord is also eternal. Arjuna is eternal. All the kings are eternal. So where is the ekatva? That means you are going against the Shruti, right? So that is what reconciliation is done by saying the Lord has Achintya Shakti. Don't try to use your material logic to understand the Lord. The impossible becomes possible for the Lord. Like, this is important. No? By material logic, impossible. But by the Lord, it becomes possible. So it creates a contradiction for a common man, right? For the common man, it becomes contradictory. How it is not possible, how it is possible, how it can become possible, but by the Achintya Shakti. So this is the Shabda Praman is very, very important to us. Actually, if you have a Shabda Praman and you have other Pramanas that contradict the Shabda Praman, Anumana Praman or Pratyaksha Praman or any other Pramana, there are some 7-8 Pramanas are mentioned. But if all these Pramanas are contradicting the Shabda Praman, you should accept Shabda Praman. There is nothing that can override the Shabda Praman. This is your foundation for spiritual level. And when we talk about Shabda Praman, we are talking about Bhakti Shastras, right? There are so many different Shastras, but we are talking about especially Bhakti Shastra. And here, Shabda, you cannot deny on the basis of your perception, right? Anuman or Pratyaksha. So here, eternal difference is unavoidable, even though it is one. We are not denying it is one. But that one has eternal variety, we already saw 4 times. So then he says, this is not negated by the logic of Kevala Advaitavada. So there is an argument from the Vedas that ultimate truth is only one. But you are saying it exists as many. We say it is a contradiction. Bhaktivinoda Thakur says it's not a contradiction. Eternal difference is unavoidable, but this does not defeat the fact that it is all one. Please apply yourself very much on this. Try to understand this. Meditate on this after the class is over. This is very, very important for us to understand. This is Vaishnava philosophy at its essence. It is one only. We don't deny that. But inexplicably, because of this inconceivable power, it exists simultaneously as many, and that will be eternal. This difference will be eternal. Right? This we have to understand. So ultimately, nothing other than the supreme truth exists. Even the temporary reality, the so-called temporary reality, is part of that one. The what we call Prakriti Parimana Vad. The Prakriti is undergoing transformation. Right? Prakriti is undergoing transformation. Sometimes it merges into the Lord, sometimes it comes out. and we see so many activities happening, then ultimately again it merges with the Lord. This Prakriti Parinama is happening all the time, but the Lord remains unchanged. So this is the Vaishnava Tattva. The Mayavadis will say, no, if anything undergoes transformation, it is Maya, it is unreal, it is illusion. We say, no. Shakti undergoes transformation. Shaktiman remains unchanged. Right? Shaktiman remains unchanged. Shaktiman is not affected by this. He is beyond the three modes. By the activities of the three modes, karma and kala, parinama is happening within this material world. But the Shaktiman, who is beyond that, is unaffected by that, untouched by that. Is it clear, or does it need any clarification? Does it bring some light into your thinking? Hare Krishna.
Yes, Prabhuji.
So we are God, but we are gods, apostrophe S. We belong to him. He is the ultimate, he is the Ishvara. Ishvara Parama is the supreme controller, and we are all controlled by him.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji.
Yes.
Could you throw some light on that Kevala Advaita Vada? Kevala Advaita.
Kevala means one.
One.
Kevala means one. So there is only one. So according to Shankaracharya, there is only one. And so any time you mention about a variety, it is all illusion. It is Maya. That Maya is appearing on that Kevala.
Oh.
Then they will even say, actually it has not appeared also. They have two types of arguments called Vivartavad, Ajatavad. We don't have to go into all these things. But basically, that day Nityananda Prabhu explained all these things nicely in the class, in temple.
Yeah.
Of course, you are switching Tamil to English, maybe some of you got confused. But I hope you understood this point, what he said.
Yes, Prabhuji.
Right? So they will deny everything. No, because they have already told there is only one and there is no second. So you cannot describe anything. So he said, then you keep your mouth shut. If you say it cannot be described, why you speak? Why you write books? Why you philosophize? Nothing, nah. But they won't keep like that. They will pick up our books. They will even pick up Bhagavatam and they will write commentaries on that. They will pick up Bhagavad Gita and write these polluted misinterpretations on that. So the point is, Kevala Advaita. We are not denying Kevala Advaita. You understand? We are not contradicting Kevala Advaita. This is the beauty of Mahaprabhu. Not that Mahaprabhu came with a new philosophy. It was already existing, but it is waiting for someone to bring it out. Just as Shankaracharya brought Advaitavad. It was not new. It was in the scripture. Same way, Visishta Advaita, Suddha Advaita, Dvaita Advaita. Everything is there from the scriptures only, waiting. Same way, Achintya Veda was waiting for Mahaprabhu to bring. Everything became reconciled in that. There is nothing that remains unreconciled in Mahaprabhu's philosophy. That is the amazing contribution that Mahaprabhu has done. Because he is the Vedanta with Veda Kritevacha, Vedanta Krit Veda Videvacha. He is the source of all the Vedas, and he is the conclusion of all the Vedas. So naturally, he can reconcile like that. Is it okay, Mataji? Kevala Dvaita.
Yeah, yes, Prabhuji. Yes, Prabhuji.
What he's saying, because of Achintya Veda, this variety and oneness can coexist, and they do coexist. They do coexist. The variety remains in the one eternally. Shakti, Shaktiman, Veda eternally exists. We have seen the Shaktis and the Shaktiman. They are all one, but they eternally remain as different. So let us go to the next paragraph. Though we seem to be moving slowly, I think it is worthwhile. Let us enjoy this. Just as we enjoy Rasulila pastimes, let us try to enjoy how Lord made this creation possible. One, the entire spiritual world that exists eternally, and then this material world that keeps coming and going, undergoing transformation, then merging into the Lord, again coming out. This is also, he keeps going so many things at the same time. How powerful he must be. How powerful. So when we see Krishna, and we see Krishna running after butter or after the women of Brajabhumi, we should not think cheaply. Who is he? We should never allow such. So when non-believers and these people, they start talking like this, nothing should disturb us. Nothing should disturb us. We should become very, very fixed up in our understanding. It is the same Krishna. He appears to have a limited form. In fact, according to Mayavadis, form means limit. Correct? That form occupies some space. So only that much is the form. So where is it outside the form? Correct? They think like that. It's material logic.
Prabhuji, when they think that form is a form, then why don't they personalize Krishna?
Now that's what. The moment you personalize God, it defeats the Kevala Dvaita. Because the form occupies a certain space, correct? It occupies a certain three-dimensional space for the sake of simplicity. Let us say a form. In fact, when we say sky, sky means space for keeping things, that's all. So the planets are floating. How they can float? Unless there is a space, or in a shelf, in a alamari, you want to keep something, you have to make space first. Then only you can push something inside. So that way, there is a space, and within the space, objects are there. So if Krishna becomes an object, then the sky seems to be bigger than him. Krishna, like you and I have a form, we are occupying some space. So Krishna is also having a form. He is also occupying some space. So how can he be supreme? Tell me, what is the answer? Anyone?
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Hare Krishna.
Go on, Mataji. Hare Krishna.
Ji, continue. I just wanted to say yes, Prabhuji. When we think materially, that logic applies, but this is inconceivable. So now from the Shastras, we are able to understand that, Prabhuji.
And we should know Shabda is the highest pramana. See, anything to come to conclusion, you need pramana, correct? Evidence. In English, we say evidence. In Sanskrit, we say pramana. So anything in the court, they will say, bring an eyewitness. Eyewitness, very important. Eyewitness is the clinching evidence in a court, correct? Pratyaksha praman, that's called. But Pratyaksha praman is the worst from spiritual perspective. It is the worst. Because human beings have 4 defects. We remember from our class 1. We all have 4 kinds of defects. Pratyaksha is absolutely no use. So unless we accept Shabda, we are not even considered theists. We are not considered believers. Even though you say, I don't believe the scripture, but I believe in the existence of God, you are called Nashtik. You are not a theist. Right? If you say, I don't care for the scriptures, but I believe in it. What is your belief? How does it? What is the value of your belief? You can have so many beliefs. What is the value? You may believe this and that. Today you may believe something, tomorrow you may believe something else. What is the value of your belief? Nothing. Shabda. So Shabda we should believe. Then only our faith grows. That is a true growth of faith. That is called Shraddha. So Shraddha is prefixed with one word. Have you heard of this? Shraddha is prefixed with Shastriya Shraddha. Shastriya. That is Shraddha. Right? That is Shraddha. Shastriya. And for us it is Bhakti Shastriya Shraddha. There are so many Shastras, Dharma Shastras are there. We are not referring to that. For us it is Bhakti Shastras. Okay. So, okay, let us move on. So next paragraph talks about those of you who don't have a book, are you able to follow what I am speaking? Or do you have any difficulties? Those without books, are you comfortable following me, or would you like me to change my style?
Yes, Prabhuji, we can.
You are okay?
Yes, Prabhuji.
Okay. So, I'm going into the last paragraph of page 3. That para Shakti, para means the higher Shakti, transcendental Shakti. That para Shakti is divided into 3. You know this: Antaranga, Tatastha, and Bahiranga. By the Antaranga or Swarupa Shakti, in its full form, the Supreme Tattva manifests eternally in the form of Bhagavan. So, how is Bhagavan manifested? Bhagavan is manifested by the Antaranga or Swarupa Shakti. They are synonymous. Antaranga or Swarupa, own form, Swarupa Shakti. Antaranga, the internal Shakti. So, in its full form, manifests the Supreme Tattva as Bhagavan. So now we understand Bhagavan has nothing to do with material things. His form or qualities or activities have nothing to do with matter. It's all in the Antaranga Shakti. We are in the Bahiranga Shakti. Okay. In order to perform his pastimes, he remains by his favorable Swarupa Shakti as powerful forms in the spiritual realm of Vaikuntha, etc. So where does he perform his pastimes? In the spiritual realm. And there he has unlimited forms. They are all eternally existing there. The word eternal has meaning only when you transcend material creation. Until we are in material creation, this word eternal is an inconceivable concept for us. The moment we say eternal, we say, okay, when did it start? It is a oxymoron. Something that has no beginning, you cannot say when it started. And something that has no end, you cannot question when it will end. And you cannot say, oh, this is not logical. I don't accept the concept of eternity. Right? This is the faulty logic that we have all developed by the faulty educational system that we have that denies Shabda. Then you are all boxed in. We are all boxed in our material logic. We are using our material logic to understand spiritual subjects. How much the acharyas must be struggling to make us understand, to break the box into which we have sealed ourselves in. They have to break this box and give this knowledge to us. Right? So, the Lord exists as Bhagavan through his Antaranga Shakti in the spiritual worlds. In order to perform his pastimes, these forms are eternally existing. Then, by Tatastha Shakti, okay, the next line, listen carefully. By Tatastha Shakti, he exists as Jivas. He exists as Jivas. Who is he? Tell me.
We Jivatmas, Prabhuji.
He exists as Jivas.
Supreme Bhagavan, he exists as Jivas.
Bhagavan exists as Jivas.
So I am God, right? You are God, right?
No, Prabhuji.
Why?
Energy. We are his energies.
We are his.
We just know read.
That Brahman they say, no, Prabhuji.
Huh? Sorry.
Brahman.
Ah.
Like 4 Brahmans they say, no, Prabhuji.
Yeah.
Even the Jivatma is a Brahman.
Yeah.
Like that. So in that sense, Prabhuji?
Yeah. So are they not one with God?
Yes, Prabhuji.
The one exists eternally as 4. And the difference between these 4 is also eternal. But they are all that one only. This is Achintya Bheda Veda. So always cling to this Achintya Bheda Veda to resolve any kind of riddles or paradoxes that you will come across. Because our consciousness will always revert to our default status. What is our default status? Material logic.
Prabhuji, please, could you repeat that, Prabhuji, what you said? That riddle, like you said, no, Prabhuji, like we are all
accustomed to thinking materially. Our logic is material logic only. Even when you try to understand the Lord, actually you are supposed to set aside material logic and then try to read Shabda or hear from Acharyas. But because this contamination interferes with us always, again and again we will get doubts. Right? Is it true or not? When we listen to scripture, when we read scriptures, Bhagavatam, Puranas and all, again and again we will get doubts. Correct? That is the interference of material logic. So you have to always get out of that material logic, understanding that it is the material logic which operates within this box called material existence. But outside material existence, there is a whole spiritual realm. It doesn't obey this material logic. So this we should remember always. So by Tatastha Shakti, he exists as Jivas. He explains spiritual particles like atoms in the rays of the sun. Have you seen? In the rays of the sun, there will be atoms floating, particularly in early days through the window In early morning, the sun rays will creep in, and some dust particles will be floating. You can see in the light. It's called hexatom, a molecule that contains 6 atoms that becomes visible to the naked eye. Tiny particles that is moving here and there in that light. So he says, jivas are like that. They are spiritual particles, right? Particles, spiritual particles, like atoms in the rays of the sun. So this is Tatastha Shakti. This is the Supreme Lord only. He exists as Jivatmas. But you should not think, oh, the God has now become a Jivatma. You should not think. They exist eternally in him. Clear, no? Not clear. They exist eternally. And this is Jivatma. Even though they are God, they are never God. Right? They are gods, God particle. They are particles of God. They belong to him. They are his servants. So we'll come to that. So by his Bahiranga or Maya Shakti, he is seen as material energy. So the other energy is Bahiranga Shakti. We have seen Tatastha Shakti, Antaranga Shakti. By Bahiranga Shakti or Maya Shakti, he is seen as material energy in the material realm, like a mixture of color in a reflection. Sattva, Raja, Tamo Guna. By the mix of this, the material energy exists, right? Material world, we say Kala, Karma, and the 3 modes interacting by the force of Kala and Karma creates the entire material world. In this way, the Lord, the Jiva, matter, and Vaikuntha are different and non-different from the Lord. This is the conclusion. So you should not think, oh, Vaikuntha is something, and material world is also God. They are all not different from the Lord. Material world is also not different from the Lord. People will question, oh, material world is so imperfect. So either God is not there or God is not good enough to create a perfect material world. But no, material world is perfect for the purpose, and spiritual world is perfect for its purpose. So that way we appreciate this. But they all exist. They are different and not different from the Lord. Right? This is important to fix it in our heart. Okay, next para also we'll read. The Jiva has a small, this is very, now we are explaining Jiva Tattva. Please understand carefully. And actually, Bhaktivinoda Thakur is writing this book for people who are steeped in material consciousness, our generation, the unfortunate generation. He is writing for us. This is not the way a pure devotee will be relishing Krishna Katha, but he is explaining in our terms so that we can understand and we can become qualified to enter into that, right? Into that spirit. So he's removing all mysticism from this and presenting it as plain facts. So we are also able to discuss like that. Otherwise, I will shudder to discuss like this. But this gives me the courage. He's a Kamala Manjari coming down from Supreme World, from the world of the Lord. But he is speaking it in such pedestrian terms, all in material terms, he's discussing. So it gives us the courage to also do that with a good purpose, that we will overcome our limitations of material logic and then transcend matter. Okay. So Jiva has a small part of the nature of the Lord, right? The Lord's nature is there in the Jiva, right? Since he takes shelter of the Lord. Why the nature is there? Because the Jiva is sheltered in the Lord. Jiva takes the shelter of the Lord. He belongs to God. He is God's. So he has a small part of the nature. What is that nature? We will see. He is external to the Lord, meaning he is different from the Lord. Even though he is one, different from the Lord. Since he has no knowledge of the Lord. See, how did he become different from the Lord? Because he has lost the knowledge of the Lord. I'm using this word lost. Here he's saying he has no knowledge of the Lord. The Jiva, when he has no knowledge of the Lord, then we say he's external to the Lord. That's all. Yes, by having no knowledge or by being ignorant of the Lord, Jiva becomes external. This is how. Jiva is internal, but he becomes external. How? By being ignorant of the Lord. Ignorant means I have a false identity. I no longer think I belong to God. I think I have independent existence. So that is ignorance. That is a root of ignorance. So because having no knowledge of the Lord, they have become external beings. That's why Krishna says, Janma Karma Chamekti. Right? Who knows my transcendental birth and activities, they come back to me. They enter into my spiritual world. So very important for us to know who is Krishna. How does he take birth? What are his transcendental activities? By knowing that, we can, because here clearly he says, having no knowledge, they have become external. If you have knowledge, you will become internal. That means you'll be in the Antaranga Shakti. Correct, na? Internal, Antaranga Shakti. Antaranga Shakti means Vaikuntha. Okay, so now let us see. Further, he is explaining, like a ray, the jiva can be overpowered by the shadow Maya. A ray of the sun can be covered. Sun cannot be covered, but a ray of the sun can be covered. And because the soul is a ray, it can be covered by the shadow Maya. The shadow is created. The shadow exists because sun exists. Shadow has no independent existence. That shadow, called Maya, covers the jiva. It doesn't cover the Lord. Since jiva is a Shakti of the Lord, again, reiterating that jiva is a Prakriti, Shakti of the Lord. He can assist in the Lord's pastimes because Lord is the enjoyer. And what does he enjoy? He enjoys Prakriti, which is his energy. And jiva is a Prakriti. So jiva can give enjoyment to the Lord. So that way, jiva can assist the Lord's pastimes. Clear? If you want to stop me, please unmute and ask it. Otherwise, I'll just continue. Since jiva is a Shakti of the Lord, he can assist in the Lord's pastimes. Because of his borderline nature, Tatastha means borderline nature, he can be overcome by Maya. Because he's on the borderline of the Antaranga Shakti, he can be pulled by Maya. Right? He can be overcome by Maya, but only because he's a soul. The Lord has never been overcome by Maya. According to Mayavadis, God has been overcome by Maya. And that is how so many souls have come. Actually, there are not so many souls for them. There is only one soul, one reality. And because of illusion, it thinks I am many. This is how they talk. Anyway, just to give you a hint, how so many souls came, they think like that. Okay. But here, we can be overcome by Maya. Jivas under control of Maya. Those jivas have come under control of Maya, they suffer in samsara. This is called samsara. The jivas who have become ignorant of the Lord, they are coming to Maya, they are said to be in samsara, suffering. By the disappearance of Maya, through relationship with the Swarupa Shakti or Antaranga Shakti, when you develop a relationship with the Swarupa or Antaranga Shakti of the Lord, Maya disappears. Then Jiva Samsara is destroyed and the Jiva becomes situated in his Swarupa. Whose Swarupa? Jiva's own Swarupa, which is different from the Lord's Swarupa. Lord's Swarupa is Ishvara, Jiva Swarupa is Bhritya, servant. So Jiva comes to his original position. Then he recognizes, oh, he is my master. Mat prananataha tu sa evana. There is no one else other than you are my master. Then when he comes to his original constitutional position, then he understands, I am the Lord's. So he says, for the jivas bewildered by Maya, after repeated experience of suffering in samsara, when faith in the conclusions of scripture arise, see this point, Shabda Praman. You should have faith in Shabda Praman. Until you don't have faith, or you partially accept Shabda, partially you don't accept Shraddha, partially have doubts about Shraddha, not good enough. Your bhakti cannot progress very nicely. So, for the jivas bewildered by Maya, after repeatedly experienced suffering in samsara, when faith in the conclusions of scripture arise, how it arises? By association with devotees. Right? So this is the key turning point. By association with devotees, faith in the Shastras will arise. See? So Shraddha, before Shraddha, you should have devotee association. Then only you have Shraddha. Just appreciate this. How important is devotee association. Just to come into Shraddha, we need devotee association. After that also, we will need it further. So then what happened? Greed for the sweetness of the Lord arises. Greed arises. First Shraddha, then greed arises. Then the jiva becomes qualified for bhakti, which is the essential function of Kladini Shakti of the Swarupa Shakti. So within Swarupa Shakti, there is a Kladini Shakti, which is Ananda potency, the Lord's Ananda, Satchit Ananda. That is the bhakti arises from that Kladini Shakti. So we understand why from the beginning, bhakti is Susukam Kartum Avyayam. It is so joyful to perform. Why? Because it is the Kladini Shakti of the Lord. Bhakti, Bhakta, Bhagavan, they are all one from the Antaranga Shakti of the Lord. So that way it is explained. Okay, I think we have 2 more minutes. If you want to say something, you can say that. We will proceed from page 4 by appearance of faith. That will be our next class. Thank you. Please, I await your comments or doubts and questions.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Thank you so much, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, the Shabda Pramana, it can be like the words of Acharyas, Gurus also, no, Prabhuji?
Yes. Exactly.
Not
Guru, Sadhu, Shastra, they will always be aligned. So when you see there seems to be some contradiction, you should understand that I have a problem in my understanding. Then you can ask and get it clarified. Guru, Sadhu, and Shastra will not contradict each other. Similarly, one Acharya and other Acharya in the Parampara, they will not contradict. If you see, no, there is a contradiction, then you have to understand there is no contradiction. In my perception, there is a defect. Let me get it clarified. You should never think, oh, there is a contradiction here. You should think, oh, my mind is presenting a contradiction here. Let me get it clarified. That should be okay.
Okay, Prabhuji.
and also Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Prabhuji, that is only in the Krishna stage of Krishna Prema, the Maya will not interfere. Is my understanding correct, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
Till then? But then what is that Ananda Hladini Shakti that we get after coming to Krishna, that Krishna consciousness, just after? Right after we get that, no, Prabhuji? Is it that?
Bhakti is always transcendental. Bhakti is always coming from the transcendental reality of the Lord, from his Antaranga Shakti. So that is why, even though we are externally affected by various situations, but ahaituki apratihata. It is never interrupted by any material situations, right? The problems, material problems, they only disturb because of our anarthas. But the bhakti process itself cannot be disturbed. We see in the life of Prahlad Maharaj, right? That nothing could disturb him. He was always absorbed in the Lord because he was in the protection of the Antaranga Shakti. Mahatmanastu Mampar Daivim Prakriti Machrita. He is under the protection of the Lord's Antaranga Shakti. So it doesn't affect. So even though we are performing bhakti, that is the whole thing. The discussion will continue tomorrow. Param Vijayate Sri Krishna Sankirtanam. How Sri Krishna Sankirtanam comes out successful? This is the creation of Maya. How it can be successful? That we'll go towards. Yes.
Yes, Prabhuji, is it possible that Krishna conscious person will not have faith in Shabda Pramana, Prabhuji? Because from the beginning, he is instilled. I mean, the person who really truly is sincere and devoted, he is always fed with this, that Shabda Pramana is the ultimate truth. So will he doubt that, Prabhuji? I mean, how can that person doubt? What type of a person will doubt that?
Just now we saw, no? Only by the association of devotees you will develop faith in scriptures. Otherwise, no. So it is simply the mercy of the Lord that is flowing to you through the devotees. Lord's arrangement. The Lord sends his representative to give you that faith. And by collecting Sukriti continuously, one day you will get that Shastriya Shraddha. This is the only way. There is no other way.
Thinking itself, it pulls you down, Prabhuji, but how is it possible that Shabda Pramana, how a person cannot have faith?
You have the whole world you see. Who has faith in Shabda Pramana?
Let them, but as we are into this, will we also get distracted from this? No, Prabhuji.
See,
Will at any time, maybe the Krishna's mercy is taken away, maybe that time it can happen. Is it?
see, you will always see that, or very often you will see Shabda Praman seems to contradict Pratyaksha. Pratyaksha means by our own senses, by eyes, ears, nose. We will see there is contradiction. And because we are all materially educated in this world, we will tend to believe our scientists more than the scriptures sometimes, unless we are very strong. That's why we are called neophyte devotee.
But will it happen like that, Prabhuji? But no, if you are in the sadhu sangha and
why not? It can happen if you are 50% in good sangha, 50% in bad sangha, or if you allow 10% bad sangha to enter, it is a sangha.
So Maya can pull you down.
Yeah. A pure devotee can become an impure devotee in no time. Or a impure devotee can also become a pure devotee if he comes to the shelter of devotee. It makes ultimate.
I don't know what I am, but still I have a fear that something like that should not happen, Prabhuji.
It is a good fear to have. But for that fear, we can do nothing except to pray to the Lord. Krishna's mercy, please protect me. Please always keep me in the association of such devotees who are very strongly fixed up. Even in taking devotee association, we should be careful to take such association which will firm up my faith instead of weakening it. We should be very careful to avoid anywhere that they speak criticism of Vaishnavas. We should very carefully stay clear. Even some devotees speak prajalpa. Devotees speak criticism of other devotees, fellow devotees. You should carefully avoid that association.
Very true. Need your blessings, Prabhuji.
I need your blessings.
Dandavat pranam, Prabhuji.
Dandavat pranam. Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. So what should we do, Prabhuji, when we hear Prajalpas, this has happened? So how should we do, Prabhuji? Like they will be communicating with us. So how can we do that, Prabhuji? If we just like that, if we go, it may cause aparadha also to them also, no, Prabhuji. Like how can we do that, Prabhuji?
Sati Devi says we should kill that person who is committing that blasphemy, and then kill ourselves.
We'll be straight away in the jail only, Prabhuji. Present scenario.
Better no? We are already in jail only.
We are in this jail, but the material jail is much more worse. This is
so we should be very careful to avoid such people who have a tendency to blaspheme. We should not remain in their association, and we should plug our ears and run away from that place. Even though our good friend may turn an enemy to us because of his behavior, good that he becomes our enemy. We are saved. Such people, we should never call us our friends because we want to protect our soul. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. I think that's why Prabhupada keeps saying avoid useless talk.
Yes. Actually, we say useless talk, but there is nothing like useless talk. Everything is, if it is not Krishna Katha, it is harmful talk only. We may think it's not a harmful talk. It's useless. Okay, waste of time. No. That is important for us.
The slow poisoning. It is a poison, actually.
Yes. Yeah. Knowingly drinking poison.
Very need blessings of all the devotees, Prabhuji.
Yeah, let us close by chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra once, praying for each other mutually.
Hare
Krishna, Hare
Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna,
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.